Dark Souls 2 changed directors midway through development. In 2012, From Software was finishing up with the Artorias DLC when they were approached by Sony to make a new game for their upcoming PlayStation 4. Hidetaka Miyazaki and a bunch of other developers beyond the original Dark Souls would start work on this new game for Sony, which will later be known as Bloodborne. However, Bandai Namco, From Software's publisher, still wanted to capitalize off the Dark Souls IP, so when the Artorias DLC was still being worked on, Dark Souls 2 began development under the leadership of Tomohiro Shibuya. Now, to say this game was ambitious is an understatement, because Dark Souls 2 was originally supposed to have a more open world design with cutting edge graphics and dynamic lighting and shadows. But in order to meet these ambitions, the devs started working on a brand new engine to power all these new features. However, the game struggled to run on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and while the devs were trying to iron out technical difficulties, they still had to work on enemies, bosses, levels, and a story for the game. And about a year into development, the game, although ambitious, made very little progress. So, the decision was made from the higher-ups to remove Shibuya as lead director. In his place came Yui Tanamura. With him came some major changes. He decided the game needed a soft reset, all while the game had about a year before it was supposed to come out. This led to the game's enemies, assets, and lore being repurposed, the once open world levels being cut up and scaled down. The original time travel plot was scrapped, with only a few remnants remaining, and the game's once dynamic graphics and lighting were significantly downgraded to run on consoles. It's honestly a miracle that Dark Souls 2 even released at all, due to the many problems it faced during development. And it's why Dark Souls 2 feels so off compared to the other games, because all the levels, enemies, and bosses were originally supposed to be for a completely different game. Despite selling well, Dark Souls 2 was the last Souls game to be developed without Miyazaki, due to Bandai Namco not wanting another trouble with development. While doing research, it's a real shame looking back at old gameplay for DS2, because the original concept did sound sick, but due to console limitations and deadlines, we can only imagine what the original Dark Souls 2 could have been. But hey, at least got Bloodborne out of it.